consists of the national anthem, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for those service members that have given their lives while defending our country. Would everybody please stand? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Mr. Miller, can you take the roll, please?
Mayor Walker.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Jacobs.
Here.
Councilmember Lynch.
Here.
Councilmember Squires.
Here.
Councilmember Earl.
Here.
Councilmember McCarge.
Here.
Councilmember Kerwin.
Here.
Okay, we'll move on to item 4, approval of the agenda as presented.
Mayor,
Councilmember Lynch.
I move for the approval of the agenda for Monday, July 22nd, 2019, as presented.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Squires. Any comments from the table? From the general public?
Yes, sir. What is going on with county and,
This is just on the agenda, sir.
well, I don't see it on the agenda, that's why I'm
Then
asking.
you come up under public comments under number 12. Okay? That's when you...
So we can't make any adjustments to the
No,
agenda
you come up under
now.
public comments when we get to item 12.
Can we discuss this when Mr. Anderson discuss his
Sir,
report?
you got to come
No.
back under item 12, okay?
It's strictly under
Yeah, this is
12.
just the approval of the agenda,
Okay.
okay? Any other comments for approval of the agenda? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that passes. Move on to item 5, recognition. I'm going to call up the fire chief, Chief Kathy Harmon. We have a retirement and a promotion tonight.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for this opportunity to recognize a dedicated member of our department, Captain Gary Gallo. He started in Garden City in 1994. He came up through the ranks, serving as a firefighter and a paramedic. He was also a lieutenant and a captain, and during his time with the department, he also served on the Western Wayne Hazmat Emergency Response Team, where he became an incident response team leader and obtained his hazardous material list specialist certification. He was also an arson investigator, helping build the team that we now have that consists of police officers in addition to some of our newer members. One thing I wanted to mention to everyone is that, and when the economy really went bad and we were down to like 14 guys, that was it. Our minimum staffing was 4. So we made a kind of a pact that we would all stick together and do the best we could so that everybody went home and that everybody was safe. Following that, we were able to obtain some safer grants, kind of build up the ranks, and he's also been part of the team that has helped develop some of these members that are taking over as those of us that are reached our retirement age have start to leave. Gary's tonight, he's here is with his wife, Heather. Sorry. He's with his wife, Krista, and his daughter, Erin. They're here to support him as well. Gary, can you come up, please? Captain Gallo, from the Fire Department to you, in recognition of your 25 years of dedicated service, I'd like to present you with a certificate of recognition. We've been on a lot of calls, some really good, bad, sad. We've been on calls that were very close. So we go back a lot of years, so Gary, thank you.
You got a bunch of accolades coming. I'm going to turn this to the public. Okay, council's got a resolution to present Captain Gary Gallo. Resolution of recognition adopted by the City Council, City of Garden City on July 22nd, 2019, honoring Garden City Fire Department Captain Gary Gallo. Whereas Gary grew up in the Detroit area and graduated from Plymouth Salem High School in 1989. And whereas Gary joined the Garden City Fire Department in August of 1994 and retired on July 1st, 2019. And whereas during his career, Gary has served as a firefighter, a lieutenant, and captain. And whereas Gary served as a member of the Western Wayne County Hazardous Incident Response Team, obtaining a hazardous materials specialist certification. And whereas during his career, Gary was a member of the Garden City Fire Investigation Team, serving as an arson investigator. And whereas Gary received a Bachelor of Science in Occupational Safety, Health, and Fire Science from Madonna University, and attended the National Fire Academy. And whereas Gary attended the Eastern Michigan University School of Staff and Command, and whereas Gary undertook the responsibilities beyond the normal scope of his job and was consistently an asset to the City of Garden City, serving in the capacity as a fire captain and working on or as a member of several community organizations. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of Garden City commends and congratulates Captain Gary Gallo on his retirement for his great dedication, service, and leadership as a member of the Garden City Fire Department. Okay, we have some other people that want to give them accolades. I have from Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib's office, Oscar Arbulu. We got Senator Betty Jean Alexander here from the state of Michigan, and we also have Wayne County Commissioner Glenn Anderson. If you all want to come up one at a time and do your thing, we'll start with Congresswoman's office. Thank you. Yeah, we're going to do a photo op. Senator? And State Representative Jewel Jones. I didn't see him here.
Congratulations. This is also signed by Jewel Jones, myself, and Governor Gretchen.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, right. Wayne County Commissioner Glenn Anderson.
Gary, congratulations to you. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Give you a resolution, a county resolution, something to hang on to. Put up those walls if you need. Thank you. Thank you again as well.
Okay, now if you get your family and all of us and all the council up here at the center, we'll do a photo. It's gonna be crowded, but we'll make it work.
Yeah. A lot of hard work.
Captain, you're gonna be right here at the center. Okay. Because you're the center of attention today. And where's your wife? Okay. Get your wife next to you and then. All the secretaries and council members. One more. Okay, we got everybody? Nope. Hold on, hold on.
One more.
We'll call the fire chief back up for promotion for Lieutenant Mike Turch.
So following his decision to retire, we held some competitive testing, and we promoted 2 members. Tonight, we're going to promote Mike Turch. He was serving as an engineer. He joined the department in 1998 through the competitive testing process. He's going to be promoted tonight. What I'd like to add is that his son Jared is going to pin his badge on. His son Jared is entering the fire service following in his father's footsteps. I know that in the past, there's been fire department members with sons and daughters that we're trying to get through, and this is the first time that it's actually going to happen. So Engineer Mike Turch, he's going to be promoted to lieutenant, and Mr. Miller's given the oath.
Yep.
I, the undersigned,
I, Michael Turch,
having been duly appointed
after having been duly appointed
the rank of lieutenant
the rank of lieutenant
for the City of Garden City Fire Department,
for the City of Garden City Fire Department,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and the Charter of the City of Garden City,
and the Charter of the City of Garden City,
and that I will endeavor to secure
and that I will endeavor to secure
and maintain an honest
and maintain an honest
and efficient administration
and efficient administration
of this office,
of this office,
free from partisan distinction
free from partisan distinction
and control,
and control,
and to perform my duties
and to perform my duties
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
Okay, at this time, we're going to recess for a couple minutes. Okay, I'd like to call the meeting back to order. We'll move on to Mr. Doherty. You want to do an introduction?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Coming to the microphone here, we have Brian Marciniak. Let's just take a moment to introduce him. He is our new city treasurer. Brian's born and raised in the city of Wayne, graduated from Wayne Memorial High School, graduated from Eastern Michigan University with a bachelor's in accounting information systems, worked 16 years in public accounting and 13 years in municipal government, is a registered CPA, also accumulated several other certifications. Brian comes to us from city of Flat Rock, where he was the treasurer, chief financial officer, and the city administrator. So while we're always looking to hire the best employees we can, we're very confident that Brian's going to be a nice asset for the city of Garden City. So this is Brian Marciniak.
Just want to say thanks for the introduction, Doc, and also I look forward to working with the staff here at Garden City, for mayor and council as well, and as for the citizens here. Do the best job I can for y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Welcome to Garden City. Okay, we'll move on to item 7, comments from our state and county officials. I'm going to call up our state senator, Betty Jean Alexander. Welcome.
Thank you.
Finally glad that you made it here, and residents have been wanting to see you, so.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everybody. I don't have much to say today. There's no session, so really don't have any updates as to what's going on right now. But I just wanted to introduce myself, let people actually see me, and let you know that I will be back anytime. If anyone has any questions or need to reach me, I believe everyone has my number. If not, you can get in touch with me, and I can give you my card. And just wanted to say hello, and it's nice to be here.
Okay, anybody have any questions for the center of the table? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And we have State Representative Jewel Jones.
Hello, Mayor, Council, administrative folk, citizens. Happy to be here. Like my colleague said, we're not in session right now, so it's not too much going on. There are a few, I know the NAACP convention is going on right now in Detroit, so that's been a chance for us to work with some people from out of town. I've been taking them around the Metro Detroit area, but also I was just out in New York, so we had made the Forbes under 30 list. And so we were in New York, basically selling Metro Detroit to Forbes because they're bringing their summit to Detroit for the next 3 years. But while they're here in the Metro Detroit area, they want to check out other places in the metropolitan area. So we'll be reaching out to you all soon. If it's any hot spots in Garden City that we want to make sure we highlight, not necessarily for the summit attendees, but for the Forbes company folk that'll be in town, they definitely would like to check out different areas, see where they may be able to come and help out in any form or fashion. So I will be reaching out with that soon. Besides that, happy Monday. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions for the state rep?
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Wayne County Commissioner Glenn Anderson.
Well, I'm sorry to make it almost unanimous that really not a lot to report right now, except for the fact that we're going to into budget sessions very soon for the 1920 budget. And I'm going to be pressing for some of the things that are important to all of us, some of our roads. And so that'll be one of the priorities that I have. And as I mentioned to the mayor before the meeting started, I have been in contact with DTE about the McDonald's project. So hopefully coming from different angles, we'll have some success quickly. Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Lynch.
As you're speaking of roads, if you could keep it in their minds that the corner, what would be the east corner of Cherry Hill and Vinoy Road, where we've had those flooding issues, that last big rain, they had to close the whole road down.
I received a notice about that, and I believe the crews got out there pretty quick, but it shouldn't happen.
No, especially since they repaired that road.
Right,
so.
and my concern is that whether or not, I'm going to try to find out, get to the bottom of it, is whether or not they looked at the drainage system and did what they should have done before the work was done, because I know Councilperson Squires had called me. It was a couple of years ago. Actually, it was back in 16, I believe, and there was flooding west of Vinoy I believe, on the north side, and then there was that along that landscaping yard or whatever it was there on the southeast corner. And they assured me that it was complete, it was fixed, and I'm concerned that maybe they didn't do it. And so I'm going to try to get to the bottom of that also.
That'd be wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on, we have no petitions or communications tonight. We have no public hearings. Oh, I'm sorry. Is Oscar still here?
No, community events, Mr. Plamondon.
Yeah, okay. I know, but Oscar was here and he left. Okay. All right, I'm going to bring up our Parks and Rec Director, Dan Plamondon, for the Summer Splash event.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, citizens of Garden City. Here tonight to announce an exciting new event that we're rolling out this Thursday in Garden City at Garden City Park. It is the first annual Summer Splash event in Garden City Park. It is a free event for kids and families to come and enjoy in Garden City Park. It will consist of outdoor inflatable water slides, slip and slides, an ice cream social, water balloon games, water relays, and more. And it'll be from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock at Garden City Park, right next to the main pavilion. It is open to residents and non-residents, but it is this month, for those that may or may not know, is National Parks and Recreation Month through the NRPA. So the NRPA encourages agencies to offer events that bring the community together, and if you can offer that in an affordable fashion, and free is as affordable as I can think of, we definitely want to do that for the community. So we'll be doing that this Thursday for the first annual Summer Splash in Garden City Park.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Plamondon.
Dan, is there age on this?
There is not. However, we typically get 12 and under for the glow bounce, so we're thinking it'll be about that 12 to 13 and under.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, no petitions or communications, no public hearings tonight. Move on to item 11, our consent agenda.
Mayor,
Councilmember Lynch.
I move for the approval of the consent agenda, item 11A, 1 through 4.
Support from Councilmember Squires. Comments from the table? From the general public?
Right here.
That's just on this item again, sir.
Pardon?
This,
My name's John Murray, and you have, right now you're speaking approval for the council meeting minutes of 7/8/19, correct?
that's correct.
Did you not table the sanitary for a later date in the minutes?
Yes.
And what my question or request is that the city, the city's provided documentation, spreadsheets and everything on how the county has come up with the numbers, the procedures, what they're asking, why they're asking, and justify allowing these 3 cities to leave, and why they have not taken some sort of legal action to protect us. And I'm basing this on the fact that they came in, used our system,
Yeah.
and now they're walking away.
So we have the sewer rate amendment coming on B1, coming up. This is for the approval of the minutes.
And I'm saying that before we go into,
We can't do that
You
now.
can't do that, sir, not
Why
right now.
can't
This
you?
is just, we're just approving the minutes from the last meeting.
but through parliamentary procedure,
No.
when
No,
meeting,
not-
No,
what you're saying is we have a separate,
We'll be talking about that item coming up, sir.
B1,
B1.
B1, hold on. You're under the wrong section.
this is, I'm not trying to verbally joust with you people. I'm just
No,
extremely
we hear you, but
concerned.
you're just coming up at the wrong time, okay? That's item B1.
That's when you want to ask your
okay.
questions.
Okay? Sewer amendment, B1.
All right.
Thank you. Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, hearing none, passes 7-0. Okay, we'll move on to item B1, 2019-20 sewer rate amendment. We have Michelle Lewis here.
Mayor, I'll give an introduction overall to the
Okay, go ahead.
point before Mr. Murray gets up there again. Him and I had talked about this past week a little bit. So Just to recap, what we're looking at is the discussion we had back in the spring during our budget meetings was the River Valley sewage disposal system, Wayne County, there's two pieces happening here. One is an expansion project and repairs from years of potential neglect, which isn't unusual in government, but also the additional costs that we have to bear because 3 of the 16 communities in the system have chosen to move out to another system. So currently, the average monthly cost is a fee of $17.37. There's 2 increases here. One is of about $1.39 per month, which is part of the reconstruction that we're looking at, that Mr. Murray mentioned there a little bit as far as the cost overall of using the system. It's got to be repaired. The second piece is $4.04 per month per water user, about 11,800 in the community. So overall, we're looking at an increase per property per month of $5.43. This isn't because the council chooses to do this or any benefit to the city itself at all. It's more of a pass-through that goes from us into the Wayne County system. So it's not an increase of where we can do more work. But if we don't choose to pass the cost on to the consumer, we will be taking it from any reserves we have, which will limit any future construction that we're doing. And so the question has to be decided here of how we want to move forward with this $65 per year per property cost. So back to the point of 16 communities were taking on this cost. 13 are left. 3 of them have moved out to the Yucca, I believe, over in Yipsy outside system. I spoke with the city managers of Plymouth and Northville, who both said there wasn't much of a choice for them. They clearly couldn't move out. They did the costs evaluation on it, and it wasn't worth it to them to try to move out. So they're staying in the system. But when the cost hit, the cost hit. They said it's either we take it out of any reserves we have in the water department affecting construction, or we pass it on to the consumers, and of course they passed it on for those that use it. One of the discussions we had was the $65. That's still an average number going by a 5-year usage report that I believe Wayne County's looked at for us. Should that be a flat fee per everybody, or should it be a consumption fee? And of course, if it's a flat fee, everybody's at 65, whether how much water you use or not. Asking the other cities, they put it straight as a consumption fee. Their feeling was the more you use, the more you pay, and vice versa. And I believe that was mentioned at the last meeting. So we've asked Plant Moran, our financial consultants that have been involved in this in other communities as well as since the beginning, trying to figure this out like the rest of us on how we got here and what happened. So Michelle and Dave are here to speak on anything, but one of the things I asked them about a little bit was, should we look at consumption versus fixed cost? And it seems pretty apparent that consumption may be the better way to go. And I don't know if Michelle, if you can mention that, or Dave, just a little bit about what the history is.
But I do have a procedural,
Yeah.
if we could remove it from the table.
We got to take it off the table, so
Oh.
a motion's in
Thank you.
order
No,
to
it's
to
okay.
take it off.
I don't have to repeat that, do I?
No.
Councilmember Lynch?
I move to take off the table the amendment to Garden City Code of Ordinances, Section 53.04 of Chapter 53, Title V of the Garden City Code.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Kerwin. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. It's
Thank
now
you.
off the table. I'm going to call up Michelle Lewis from Plant Moran. They're an outside third party that does our city auditing every year, and they also do our water rate study every year. And we pretty much ask them the difference between consumption and flat rate, and what's the opinion of our
And
audit.
and just to be clear, it wouldn't be their opinion we should do it or not do it. They
Yeah,
are still,
but
yes,
the-
just to give us some facts in the background.
Some facts on consumption versus flat rate.
Yeah, so real quick, Dave Halsick from Plant Moran, with me, Michelle Lewis. So as city manager has indicated, for a number of years, we've had some level of involvement with assisting the city in setting its rates. We really compile the information that's provided and based on that information, determine how much revenues need to be raised to cover the cost of those services. And then historically, the city has then made a determination how much would be raised via a consumption charge versus a ready-to-serve charge. Historically, really the city has focused the ready-to-serve charge based on pure administrative type costs, basically, you know, the costs that you're going to incur regardless of whether a consumer uses the system or not. And I know everybody's using the system, but to the degree they're using the system. Just as an example, to send out a bill costs the same, not dependent on how much you use. To go out and read meters and those type of things. So historically, that has been what the city has used to determine that ready-to-serve charge. And then really the cost of operations, if you take a look at historically at the way you're departmentalizing your water and sewer funds, there's really three components. There's a water component, a sewer component on the expenditure side, and then an administrative. Everything other than that administrative has been rolled up in the consumption type charge and charged that way. This cost of sewage disposal has historically been included in the consumption charge, and the rate study that's been brought before you continues to do that.
Okay. Anybody got any questions for Plant Moran?
Mayor, just, is the
Councilmember.
county here also, or just Plant Moran?
I don't believe anybody.
I don't know if you know, but when those cities dropped out of this, do you know the time frame as far as when they dropped out versus when they came up with the costs and the presentation?
We really wouldn't have any more information than the city had that was provided from the county as it relates to the
Okay.
to the rate structure.
And of course, the county chose not to show up again. All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Mayor?
Councilmember McCarthy? Go
I
ahead.
don't really have a question. I just appreciate how you explained it, because I wasn't on the council when they did the fixed rate. I just knew that I thought it was a really good idea. But knowing that it's more for the administrative purposes rather than, I'm a little, I'm frustrated with the amount that the county is asking for, but I also understand that why they have to do it. I don't think we have a choice, so, thank you.
Anybody else got any questions? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else want to make a comment on this
We don't
item?
have a motion yet.
Wait a minute.
Wait,
Motion's in
Wait.
order first. If anybody wants to make a motion, then we'll have comments. We took it off the table.
Mayor?
Councilmember Lynch.
I move to approve the amendment to Garden City Code of Ordinances, Section 53.04 of Chapter 53, Title 5 of the Garden City Code, providing for rates and charges for sewer services to include the cost improvements to the Roos Valley sewer system.
Support. Councilmember Jacobs. Any comments from the table?
Mayor?
Councilmember Earl.
I still have the same concerns I had last meeting, and the county couldn't come out and speak to those concerns. I haven't heard any answers on it yet, which is why I fully understand the situation. I fully understand the costs. I don't understand why they treat us the way they're treating us and our citizens, the way they're treating our citizens. This is wrong for them to just to impart this on us and not have the common courtesy to at least come out and explain what's going on. And that's why I'm opposed to this. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? From the general public, if you wish to speak, come up to the podium. There is a 3-minute time limit.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Mike Farron, I live in Garden City and have a business in Garden City. I spoke to the mayor, spoke to Mr. Jacobs and several other council members after the meeting last time. My feeling is that this should be a fixed charge per water user in the city for several reasons. Number one, if you use any water in the city, you have to pay this charge to the River Rouge sanitation system. It has to be paid, whether you use 5 gallons or 5,000 gallons. The second thing is, if you do a $65 charge per water user, you have absolutely covered your costs. You know how much that is. People can, to some degree, adjust their consumption. You may wind up with more or less charging on a consumption basis than you think. Now, the mayor said that he thought it wasn't fair that somebody should subsidize him filling his swimming pool last time. Well, Mayor, you pay for every gallon of water that goes into your swimming pool. You pay the water charge, you pay the sewer charge. You're already paying it, you'll continue to pay it. Nobody is subsidizing you. If you choose to do that, you are paying that bill, just as I am, just as every other citizen is in Garden City. This is an infrastructure repair that needs to be done. It should be spread out evenly among the users. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
My name's John Murray, and I'll truthfully tell you, I'm more confused now than ever about what is going on between the county and all of our cities. You have 3 that have left us on our sanitary issue, and aren't they aware that the same thing could happen in the south with Woodhaven, Flat Rock, and Trenton leaving Allen Park, Lincoln Park, Wyandotte? You could have the same issue on the east side with Grosse Pointe, leaving Detroit. We do have an infrastructure problem, period. And I need the county to somehow explain to all of us what's their intent. They do get a millage from us. How is that money spent? And why is it that we seem to have problems all the time? You guys, you have my compassion right now because this has got to be a hard time. I don't think they've given you the information to even discuss it amongst yourself to make a recommendation to us. And I just wonder, what can we do? I think that we probably should take an extremely aggressive position and maybe institute some litigation against these people, because I don't think it's fair that 3 cities could leave us. I don't think it's fair that there was a time where we had a reasonable infrastructure, and then there was what we would call a flight of west of 275 north of Schoolcraft, and they tied into this sanitary line and basically overwhelmed it. And we all know what the erosion of water does. Look at the Grand Canyon. So you start pumping all this stuff in, our system went to hell. How do we know their proposed way of repairing this has any longevity in it? We need solid information. They need to address it from point one. What initiated this? Who gave them the recommendations? What's the bidding process? Who's the prime contractor? Who's the general contractor? Who is going to be the worker-bee contractor? Because they haven't started to work, but yet they want to collect money from us. I know from personal experience that worker-bee contractor won't get any money from the county for a minimum of 90 days, but yet they're all of a sudden they want money from us. What are they going to do with that money? And I don't trust Wayne County.
30 seconds.
Do we just have to,
30 seconds, sir.
Have we ever gotten a clear explanation of what happened at the jail? They went through all the bidding process and everything else. Then all of a sudden they realized they missed bid packages. Who says this is going to happen with the sanitary system? Who's going to stand up and be accountable to us through the county? I'd like to know what you guys are going to do about it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anybody else? Mr. Molnar.
I understand the new construction, but on the maintenance, $4 and something. Let's just put the cat out the goddamn bag. Wayne County is either one of 2 things. They're completely incompetent in that water department they got, or they stole all the money that we've been paying them for all these years, because our sewer rate is double our water rate. So it's either one of 2 things. Don't take it out on Commissioner, because his hands are tied too. He's out of it too. They won't even let the commission in. Something's got to give here. Like I said, there's only one of 2 scenarios. They're either completely incompetent, or they're a bunch of damn crooks that stole all the money out of the sewer system that was supposed to be going into the maintenance. That's what they were charging us for. They wouldn't charge us for the disposal of the water, just like you guys charge us for the water. But there's a maintenance fee. And even when there wasn't a maintenance fee, the water you charged us for, you did maintenance out of that fee, which is the way it was supposed to be done. And that's what Wayne County is supposed to be doing for the last 50-some years that I've been here. And evidently, like I said, somebody's got a pocket full of money or they're completely incompetent. And that's the only two things you can say for them.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yeah, Councilmember Lynch.
Mr. Helisek, can I ask a question, please? I totally understand why we requested to table this, because we thought that the flat rate would be more fair to everyone. And the fact that if somebody goes to Florida for 6 months and comes back for 6 months, they're paying the same fee as somebody that's here 12 months, because everybody's going to benefit equally from these improvements. Why is it that we couldn't add it to the fixed rate, and then, because we know that you can adjust these rates whenever, as we get closer out and we say, oh, we're collecting the right amount of money, carry on, or no, we're not collecting the right amount of money, and come back and readjust the fees? Why couldn't we do that instead?
Well, that's not our decision.
No,
Keep in
I'm
mind-
just, from your point of view. Could that be done?
I mean, you know, I don't want to influence one way or the other. You guys give me the numbers, we
But
run.
legally, can it be done?
I'm not an attorney, so I
Right.
can't
Oh,
answer the
okay.
legal
I
part
think
of that.
I think the question on council would be also, we're still talking the difference that Mr. Mueller mentioned, $1.30 for the construction. It's the $4 because we're a smaller coalition. That goes under the consumption rate. The $4 is the concern more than the actual construction. So whether they construct anything or not, we're still at a $4 increase, period.
And I wasn't
On
at the
average.
meeting, wasn't the construction part for this year, it was just a couple $1 million, wasn't it, for the 1920?
It was a smaller amount,
And then it
yes.
goes forward.
Yes.
It's larger when the
Yes.
project goes forward. So I think, my recollection, I'd have to go through my notes, is the construction part's actually a relatively small part of this year's dollar increase at the county.
I just have one question. Regardless of what we vote on, we're going to be charged?
Yes.
Okay, I just want people
We're
to
being
know
charged
that
now.
regardless, we're being charged for this now, one way or the other, we're being charged that, and we're going to have to pay this bill one way or the other.
We're being
Correct?
charged as of July 1st, and we haven't started collecting yet, so.
That's right.
I just wanted to make sure people were aware that we don't have a choice, we're going to get the bill.
It's just the way we collect it.
You want to speak?
Well,
Councilmember Jacobs?
Yes. So the motion out there is on a consumption basis, right? Not,
Correct.
I think I'm more, and I supported it, but listening, I think I'm more just a fixed rate, so.
I'll withdraw my motion, if you want to withdraw the
Yep,
support.
I withdraw it. I'd
Okay.
rather go with just a fixed rate.
Made the motion to get it out on the table so we could legally discuss it, so.
Okay.
Okay, so now another motion's in order.
Okay, that would be to, Mayor?
Councilmember Jacobs?
I move to approve the sewer rate amendment based on a fixed rate charge instead of a user consumption rate.
Support.
And I don't know if that's the whole thing, but
Knowing
that's
that
just,
it can be changed if we're not collecting the correct amount of money.
Right.
okay.
And I'll support that.
So I got a motion and a second. Any comments from the table?
Mayor? And I really appreciate that we're even discussing this. And the thing is, next year, when the water rates come up, you can even discuss maybe part being consumption or part being
Right.
fixed. We have that flexibility year to year. But I do think that the fixed rate right now is a good way to go.
Mayor, for clarity here, I think we just, so $4 is the increase per property per month. Are we saying all of the other $17 is all going to a fixed rate also? Or are we just saying that we're coming up with this new price because of 3 of our roommates left? We have a higher bill to pay for the mortgage. Only this extra $4 increase, we're gonna try to make that a fixed dollar cost plus the construction? Because I think we're getting a little hairy area here, because the $4 per house plus the $1.30, which comes up to $5.40. $1.30 is construction, $4 is because we have a mortgage with less people paying the bill.
We're
What's the
talking
fixed rate?
$65-ish, whatever
Then,
that number is.
then we're only, so,
We're talking $65.
okay, okay. Well,
And that will,
will that, we be able to figure that out easily?
Okay.
Because the set fee everyone's paying now, that $17 is a consumption rate. And we're saying anything above that $17 now is gonna be considered fixed rate, or are we saying, I hear you say 65, but we will have to figure out 2 things. One is, and that consumption $17 is variable, correct, if I'm not mistaken? That's a consumption rate. But the $4 we're adding now is going to be a fixed rate. And we're assuming fixed that's the average, we're saying at $4, but we won't know until people use
Right.
it.
And
So
that's
the
why I said it can be-
increase is gonna be fixed, but the rest of it's gonna be consumption-based.
And just a question, yeah, I'm getting a little confused just you talking.
I know,
but
so am
you
I.
know, That, not because of you.
I know,
just
I got
because
you.
But we're just saying, you've told us, or we've been told, this would be approximately an average increase
Mm-hmm.
of $65, average. We're saying that $65 should be the fixed rate. Don't worry about anything else.
Okay.
And then at the end of the year, if we have to go up or down with that, the council's going to have the ability to do that.
Is that financially, can we figure that out?
I just
To a point.
did confirm the numbers with Michelle that if the council makes a recommendation to do the fixed rate at 65, we should be able to meet the 5-year consumption-based estimate, and we will hopefully not have to come back, is the other issue.
We have the opportunity.
We have to come back every
and
year
adjust.
anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, we look at the water rate every year. If we gotta come back and adjust it, we can, but, so, it sounds like you want your motion to be $65 fixed rate.
Yes.
And you agree to that?
That is right.
It's
Okay.
65.16 or $65? Because we're,
That was 65 even is what I made the determination, but the 16, I just did some quick math, and what we had talked about was the 65-16, if the motion maker would like to make that amendment.
I agree, 65-16.
I agree.
Okay.
Okay, any more comments from the table?
Mayor,
Councilmember Earl.
as customers of the Rouge Valley sewer system, which they're imposing these costs on us, what kind of say do we have in the bidding process, the process to make sure that this is being done fairly, the process to make sure that the fees are going where they're supposed to be?
Probably none.
Wayne County.
Wayne
Yeah.
County.
I was gonna say,
But
I don't
We
think.
could ask Mr. Anderson to keep an eye on it.
Commissioner
for
has
us.
any
Remember,
either.
again, the $1.30 is the construction. The $4 is because there's no one else paying the bill.
I would just say that the Drain Commission is independent of the Wayne County Commission. We
Right.
don't have any authority over them.
Right.
And in answer to your question, Councilman Earl, if you could imagine 65 communities or ever how many communities are in the system, all wanting to review the bids and everything, is probably not feasible. And I don't think there's any basis for anyone, other than the Drain Commission. They've been given wide latitude in an act that was approved in 1956. Few of us were born then, but there was, it is something that they have a great deal of latitude on. We don't, the Drain Commissioner himself is appointed by the county executive. And we don't even confirm that, but it's just an appointment, and it's not something that the commission, the Drain Commission does not send anything for us for approval. The first time I heard about this was when I came to the meeting, I think it was on the 8th.
Right.
We're not even notified of it. Now, some of us sit on, if it's within our district, some of us sit on a drain board, and but that was not something I was appointed to. I have sat on one that crosses from Canton into Westland to Wayne, but it's basically just a recommendation board. They present everything, but anyway, this has not been on the radar until it came here.
Right.
But anyway, that helps.
I appreciate it.
Okay, anybody else from the table?
I just wanted to thank Dave and Michelle.
Can I just clarify, just so I understand because I think we've got to finalize the compilation and budget forecast at some point. So if this is voted on and passed, was the ready-to-serve charge for the sewer would be 65, is what I heard?
6516.
6516, okay.
Well, that's a combination of both the construction and increase.
The increase of 6516 would be over the course of a year.
So we'll meet with you,
Under
Doc.
annual?
Okay.
Same one, but yes. If there was no construction, we still have an increase of $4 a month by our regular consumption. That's now become fixed.
Okay.
We just gotta figure
Well,
out-
we'll work with finance based on what's passed here today, so we can finalize this document. Because again, this is your document, these are your rate studies. We're just trying to consolidate and really opine on the information that's put together by the city.
Okay.
I have a question. Can we
Councilwoman
come back
Crowe?
to this if the numbers aren't working out? Or
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
We can readjust.
Because at this point, I'm even confused now.
Yeah. So that if we add the 65 to the original annual fixed that we have already, that would make the fixed 126.85. I mean, that's what I'm just adding the 65.16 or to the 61.69, just so.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Go ahead. All right, all right, go ahead.
Not to cut you off, but, now, how does Wayne County bill us? Do they bill us by consumption?
Yes,
So you're gonna bill me by fixed rate, and they're gonna bill the city by consumption?
yes.
I went along with the other fixed rate because it's for infrastructure in the city, plus my water bill. But I'm not so happy about this one. If it's, Wayne County's gonna bill consumption, and the mayor puts, you got the poo. If the mayor puts all that water into the sewer line, why should I pay 65 and he only pays 65? Now you've changed the whole outlet of the fixed rate. The fixed rate was for the Garden City maintenance and construction. Wayne County doesn't bill, not billing you a fixed rate. They're billing you on consumption of everything the city puts in their system. So if you put more in, you pay more. Sorry. I know I went along with the other one, and I thought the other one was a great idea, but not this one.
Anybody else? Come on.
I thought we went through the agenda.
Microphone.
Wait till you get the microphone.
I apologize. I thought we were on the agenda where we had public comments, correct?
Yes.
No, not yet.
Oh,
Not the end.
We're still on B1.
okay, this crazy thing about this infrastructure work. By putting it on the water bill, it's not a tax deduction, correct? If we put it on our tax bill, that would benefit us a little bit because some of us are still able to itemize that deduction. Have we thought about that?
Sir, this is your opportunity to make a comment or statement. We don't go back and forth.
I'm not
Okay.
trying to,
Yeah.
but I'm asking, that's what I was trying to say earlier. I'm not sure where we're coming from and what we're trying to accomplish because we had fixed rates, now we got consumption rates. It seems like somebody needs to designate what the total cost is, what it's gonna cost Garden City, and then you guys, with our assistance, will make a decision on how we make that payment. Because consumption and how long are you gonna be taking this money out of the water bill for how many years? Or is it for a 1-year period? What's the duration? Or is it unlimited? And then if it's unlimited, there's gotta be a point we paid for what's getting done. So how do we hold the county accountable for the money they're getting from us? That's why, I don't know what you guys are gonna do. Like I said, you have my compassion. They have this thing chaotic as hell, and that's when you have to become extremely cautious of what they're doing. It is Wayne County.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, I want to take a roll call on this one. Mr. Miller?
Okay, the first to vote is Councilmember Jacobs,
Aye.
and second is Councilmember Lynch.
Aye.
Mayor Walker.
Nay, because I believe in the consumption from the start, so I'm going to go nay on that.
Councilmember Squires.
Nay.
Councilmember Earl.
Nay.
Councilmember McCarge.
Aye.
And Councilmember Kerwin.
Nay. I have too many questions.
Okay, motion fails.
The motion failed.
4-3.
Mayor,
Councilmember McCarge.
I'd like to make a motion, because, I'd like to make a motion and go back to the original, because we're going to be billed for this. We have to pay for it. And I would rather start collecting this money and making sure that the city can pay it. So is that something I can do?
Yes.
Okay, so I move to approve the amendment to Garden City Code of Ordinances, Section 5304 of Chapter 53, Title 5 of the Garden City Code, providing for rates and charges for sewer service to include the cost improvements to the Rouge Valley sewer system with the consumption, the rate based on consumption base. I don't know if I said that right, but.
Do we have a second? I'll ask one more time. Do we have a second on this motion? Okay, motion fails, lack of support. We're gonna have to figure something out, council, because we're getting billed as of July 1st, so more to follow at the next meeting.
Yep.
Item 2, 2019 Marquette Avenue Concrete Sectioning Program.
Mayor?
Councilmember Kerwin.
Motion to approve the 2019 Marquette Avenue Concrete Sectioning Program, contract extension to Hard Rock Concrete of Westland, Michigan, in an amount not to exceed $659,700, and to approve the 2019 Marquette Avenue Concrete Sectioning Program proposal for construction services for Hennessy Engineers of Southgate, Michigan, in an amount not to exceed $23,100 for administrative tasks, and to approve the Bocelli Group of Livonia, Michigan for the construction inspection services for the 2019 Marquette Avenue Concrete Sectioning Program in the amount not to exceed $13,720.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Lynch. For the residents, last year we did sectioning on Marquette from Merriman to Cadillac, which is one block this side of Hanoi. We're going to pick up at Cadillac on both sides of Marquette, all the way to Radcliffe, which is the end of our city limits. After you cross over Radcliffe, you're in Westland. So we're going to finish Marquette, both sides, sectioning, and this is paid for out of your road bond money that you voted for. And those roads are terrible. It needs it, so this will be a big improvement. And this will happen in August and September, and we'll have Marquette done before winter gets here. So that's what this is all about, continuing this sectioning from Cadillac to Radcliffe on Marquette, both sides. Any comments from the table? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. I'm going to bring up Monica Fulton, Community Resource Director on the Senior Alliance. I think she's got some more grant money. Another contract with Grant?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I apologize. I was on vacation today, so I don't have my paperwork with me, so I'm working from my phone. I have to expand it big here. Okay, so this is a 3-year contract that the Senior Alliance awarded us a grant for, and we will receive $2,660 per year to support the Arthritis Foundation Exercise Program. We'll receive $3,010 per year to provide the Arthritis Foundation Tai Chi classes, and $8,100 to support our senior center staffing here over at Maplewood Center. This is a 3-year contract. It starts October 1st and goes for 3 years. It is a fee for service reimbursement contract. So every service we provide, we get a dollar amount per service. I want to give a big shout out to Danielle Willems, our Senior Activities Coordinator. I gave this grant to her to write and to try her hand at it, and she did a fabulous job. Needed very little revision, so I'm very glad about that. I'll be passing on my grant writing skills to my staff, so congratulations to her. So, any questions?
No?
Thank you.
Motion's in order.
Mayor? Go ahead.
Councilmember Squires.
I move to approve the contract for services between the Senior Alliance and the City of Garden City commencing October 1st, 2019 and ending September 30th, 2022.
Support.
Support for Councilmember Kerwin. Any further discussion from the table? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 7-0. Moving on to item 12, public comments for items that were not on the agenda tonight. If you wish to speak, come to the podium. There's a 3-minute time limit. It's not the time to go back and forth with council members. This is your opportunity to make a comment or a statement. Yes, sir.
At the last council meeting, we had an issue about Silver Bar, the alley, turning it into a restaurant, banquet facility. And my understanding was that the planning commission reviewed it, they send it to you guys, you get to make a decision, then you send it back to them and they rejected it. About 15 months ago on Cherry Hill, we had sort of a similar situation where between the child care center and the church, there was a lot designated as residential. Someone was petitioning to get it made into a multifamily. And at that time, the council made a comment, we have to find a way to streamline these activities. So my question is, why doesn't the council have the final say? And in this particular case with the restaurant, I would recommend you override the planning commission, give approval to those people, and if the planning commission don't like it, they can go to the county and the state to petition against you guys being wrong, because if you notice, we don't have a lot of businesses, but we have a lot of vacant properties. There has to be a cause and effect for that. Are we being too tough, or are we missing the boat somehow? And I would appreciate if you guys could take an aggressive mood that way and override the planning commission and give those people an access to open that business. And my thought pattern is you go to Ford and Inkster, it used to be the Odyssey Lounge, now it's some sort of restaurant. That place is packed. It has no parking in that area. And if they were thinking of expanding, we have Amatia's over there at Warren and Vinoy would be a perfect location for them to do it. But would you want to move into Garden City after what these people are going through on Middle Belt and Ford Road? I wouldn't. So I'd like you guys to investigate on how to resolve that problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Farren.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to speak to the citizens of Garden City for a moment and let them know that there is a very important public hearing that's put on by the Planning Commission that they were asked to put on by the City Council, and that hearing is going to be on August 8th. I encourage all citizens in Garden City to attend that meeting. There are 3 charter amendments that the Council wants the Planning Commission's feedback on, and that's why this public hearing is being held. I don't think many people in town are aware of it. I don't think many people in town know what they are Planning Commission is being requested to approve, I think that everybody should attend, hear what they are asked to approve, and give their opinion and give their voice. There are some very unusual and suspicious things going on in Garden City on how things are being approved and who's doing the approving, and the citizens need to know what's going on. Please attend that public hearing on August 8th, the Planning Commission. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Jones?
Mike Jones. On a lighter note, the Garden City Kiwanis and the Greater Westland JCs would like to invite everybody in the community to be aware of our Kids Day in the Park on August 10th. Runs from about noon to 4. It's primarily for children from the ages of 3 to 12. Costs are relatively minimal, and there'll be a plethora of activities for our young citizens to participate in. And we'd like to invite everybody to consider attending that's appropriate age group.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Molnar?
Guess what? I saw my senator tonight. She got elected 7 months ago. I didn't see her before the election when she was campaigning. Haven't saw her since the election, which has been 7 months. And I saw her tonight. I'm not impressed. I'm impressed with this man here who's not my representative, but he represents my representative. At least this guy is here, and he's got enough guts to stick around. If you notice, everybody else is gone. And the county commissioner needs to get credit. He's always around, and he's always willing to answer questions, and so is this man. But the rest of them, the senator, and Jewel, which I thought was a pretty good guy at one time, to be honest with you, but he kind of deserted me and the rest of the city. And this Kashik, I can't pronounce her name. That's no disrespect to her, but I still have never seen her, and I don't have no respect for her anyway. The second day she got elected, gets up on the stage and calls out my president and her president and MFers. I don't care how much she hates him. That was uncalled for. And will I bite their head off when I talk to them? I might. You know that, Mayor. I mean, you've had a few rounds with everybody else. That don't mean anything. That don't mean I think you're a crook or anything. I don't think nobody up there's a crook. Everybody up there is honest. They're doing the best they can. And you're all a little bit on the nutty side. If you weren't, you wouldn't be sitting up there, because you catch it all the time from us. Anyway, I just wish they'd have stuck around a little bit longer, and I wish some of them would show up at the town hall meeting when they have them. And with this thing with the Planning Commission, the council, and the DDA, I don't know. I hope you guys could all get together somewhere and figure it out before it gets too far out of hand. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mrs. Farren?
Thank you. Good evening. I just want to note that we are paying a lot of money in taxes for road repair in this town. The roads adjacent to our property are not being done. We paid our 5% when our roads were done. We paid for Barton and we paid for Central. So while everybody's considering who pays what, some things are not always fair. I didn't support that millage, and I was told that the state told you couldn't do it as an assessment. That is an infrastructure repair. That should have been shared by everybody. We are paying a lot of money based on our property value at our home and our business. I don't like it. And I support infrastructure repairs to be even to everybody in town. Now, on a different note, I want to give a huge shout out to Kathy Harmon and her fire department. We have always supported and appreciated the fire department. We had a very scary event at our house where a tree was arcing, it caught on fire, branch fell, the line fell, there was fire everywhere across the road. Her people are just the best. They are top rate. They were calm, they were attentive, and I just can't tell you how much I appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Hunt?
Just want to clear something up. Kevin Hunt, Garden City, and member of the Planning Commission. There's a lot of people out there kicking us around right now because of decisions we made. Decisions are made off of the rules and regulations that are set forth in this city, just like for the council. You have rules and regulations you have to follow. We have the same thing. We are volunteers there. We spend many, many hours going over all of these different situations that are out there, and then we get a kickback at us. I don't know why they made a decision like that. One member here thinks that if the city gets sued, we ought to be the ones that foot that. Didn't like that one bit. You guys are backed by this city. We are also as commissioners and appointed people in the city, and I didn't like the fact that Planning Commission ought to foot that bill themselves. I'm not footing one of those. I'm following the rules and regulations just like everybody else that's on that Planning Commission. If you want them changed, change them. But we're working with what we have right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? City Manager's report.
Well, just a quick congratulations to Gary Gallo. I hope you enjoy retirement. I think you'll enjoy it, very much so. And of course, Turch for his promotion. I've dealt with him on a number of different issues from the union side, and solid cat. Good promotion. That's it.
Okay. Councilmember McCarge?
Starting with some good things, I really would like to take this time to thank several groups. The Garden City Garden Club had their walk this Saturday, and it brought in quite a few people from outside the community, and we got so many good comments about our city and in the gardens, but also the Historical Museum. The Garden City Historical Museum at the Straight Farmhouse, because it was the 25th anniversary or the 25th annual garden walk, they wanted to support us, and they did an amazing job. The volunteers at the Historical Museum were absolutely awesome. If you have not been over to the museum, they are open on Saturdays from 12 to 3 and Wednesdays 12 to 3, and basically it's all by donations. So please support them. They are a wonderful organization. I'd also like to thank Garden City TV and the communications department, because they came out and filmed the walk, and they got some advertisement out on the board. It was just a really great partnership, this walk. And then I would also like to thank again the DPS department, because they have been keeping our trees that the Garden Club donated. They've been keeping them alive and through all this heat. And by next year, they won't need extra watering, but we're very thankful. Kids Stay in the Park. It's also Touch a Truck, so the kids will be able to do bouncers and stuff, but they will also be able to get over and climb on trucks, big trucks. So we really encourage the kids to come August 10th from 12 to 4. And then the only other thing I want to add on a more serious nature is, I appreciate anyone that comes up to the podium. I don't always agree with you. And I also know that you don't always know, all of the legal stuff, because I know I don't. I have to sometimes find out the legal stuff to know right from wrong as far as our rules and regulations. But I do encourage you to come up. I do encourage you to give kudos, but I also encourage you to question, because it does make us think, and your input is important. Without a local newspaper, communication is very, very difficult. So, please come up, but also feel free to contact. Most of us can be contacted if you have questions. if you contact me, I'll try to get your questions answered. Just give me time, because a lot of times I have to research them. So again, thank you for taking the citizens that take the time to come here, to come to other meetings. You are serving this community well. Thank you.
Councilmember Kerwin?
I love hearing how great our fire department was and our police department. I love that our city has one of the best around. I saw a video of that fire, and that was very scary. I had friends that lived over there as well, so thank you for that. I really think our boards and commissions do need to work together. I know that we're all trying to make the best decisions for Garden City. We all live here. We're not going to always agree on them, but I do think we need to respect each other. I think that we need to have more open communication. It's not an easy task because we're not always going to agree, but there does have to be a level of respect. I've seen name calling, I've seen all kinds of things, and we just need to work together to have the best outcome for our city. That's all I have.
Okay. Councilmember Lynch?
Yes, I know that the power's been out for some people since Friday night even, and it's still out in some of the neighborhoods. And with the heat that we just had, that's a problem, and I hope everybody's faring well. I wanted to give a shout out to several groups of people, such as the police department with the water in the trunk of the car, trying to keep people cool as they were going through the parks and up and down the streets, the police and fire departments in responding to the incidents. And then several businesses that I personally know of, Garden City Cafe staying open past the time that they normally would because they knew people didn't have the capabilities for cooking at their own houses with the power out. And Lucky Dog, you think, okay, they take the dogs in. Well, they had chairs sitting out there for people to come in and cool down and to plug in their cell phones and recharge them, just trying to give back. And Maplewood Center for the cooling room. You know, just everybody working together, trying to make a bad situation better. I don't know when we're going to have our power back on. I heard they were hoping to get it on by Monday night. I don't think that they've quite made their goal yet, and hopefully it'll be Tuesday or Wednesday. But there are some pockets that are back on, which is a good thing to hear. I have to check in on the school tonight to see if we got our power back. But just thank you for everybody that's working together to make Garden City such a great place.
Okay. Councilmember Jacobs?
Couple of things. I want to congratulate Gary Gallo on his retirement, and hopefully he enjoys himself, him and his family. Also Lieutenant Turch for his promotion, very good. I'd like to welcome our new finance manager, Brian. Welcome aboard. And Mr. Doherty, our parking lot that was done last year that's still not complete, I'd like maybe a report on where that's at, why it's not done, when it might be, or what we can do.
Get that information to you.
That's all I have.
Okay. Councilmember Squires?
Yeah, I too want to congratulate Gary Gallo and Mike Turch. And I'm in agreement with Councilmember Earl. We need to see somebody from Wayne County. Can we extend another invitation to them? Or insist that they come out here?
Yep.
Because we have to get this resolved. And I don't know, whoever has the most power, please do your best to try and get them out here to talk to us, even if we have to have a special meeting. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Councilmember Earl?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Congratulations to Lieutenant Turch. He does a phenomenal job with the fire department, and it's a great promotion. And I really want to thank retired Captain Gallo for all of his years of service in protecting this community. I've had chance to ride along with the fire department. That's not an easy job. So I really appreciate everything, all his sacrifices and his family sacrifices while he was at work. That's all I have today. Thank you.
Mr. Miller?
I have nothing this evening.
Okay. I just want to say what a great city we have. Just this last weekend, we've had Autos for Autism, Lucky Squirrel, Garden Walk, GCYA Field Day. Within the last couple weeks, we had residents come out and volunteer to paint fire hydrants. We have tournaments, cornhole tournaments going on right now, and another auto show in the park. We have a great city. We have a lot of volunteers. I want to thank all the volunteers that volunteer for our boards and commissions. We do have to maybe work on better communication, but we're all in it for the same thing, the betterment of Garden City. And I too want to congratulate Captain Gallo on his retirement and Lieutenant Turch on his promotion. Again, we have a great city. At this time, I will entertain a motion to go into closed session to discuss a legal opinion pursuant to Section 8 of the Open Meetings Act.
So moved. Support.
Support from Councilmember Squires. Roll call, Mr. Miller?
Councilmember Lynch.
Aye.
Councilmember Squires.
Aye.
Mayor Walker.
Aye.
Councilman Jacobs.
Aye.
Councilmember Earl.
Aye.
Councilmember McCarge.
Aye.
And Councilmember Kerwin.
Aye.
7-0, unanimous. And it
Okay,
is 8.
at this time, we're going to recess to go into closed session.